I am Vinodini, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Application, PSNA College, and today we are going to see about Introduction to Embedded System. And the topics to be covered are microprocessor, definition for microprocessor, and applications of microprocessor. And we are going to see the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. After that, the hardware model, software model, and the flag register, the system bus in a processor, and addressing modes, right? So microprocessor. So what do you mean by a microprocessor? A processor is nothing but which is going to receive some input from input device, and it is going to act and it is going to receive the instructions from the memory, process it, and send the output to the output device. In clear, a microprocessor is nothing but it is a multi-purpose programmable clock driven register based electronic device. So definition of microprocessor is a microprocessor is a multi-purpose programmable clock driven register based electronic device which is going to receive input from input devices and process it and send output to output devices. This is the definition. And what are the example for a microprocessor? So the starting from Intel 4004, so we have lot of examples. For example, Intel 8085, 8086, and we have a Pentium process, Pentium 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have Intel Core 2 Duo, and we have lot of many examples for a microprocessor. And we shall see a schematic diagram for a microprocessor. This is your processor unit, right? And we have a input device, so this is the diagram which shows the definition for a microprocessor, which is nothing but electronic device or electronic chip which is going to receive the instructions from memory and the input from the input device, process it and send the output to the output device. The input device may be our keyboard, mouse, or your output device may be the monitor or any video display devices. So this is the definition. So now coming to the difference between a microprocessor and microcontroller. So microprocessor is a separate electronic chip, whereas a microcontroller is an integrated device which is going to include the processing unit, memory, input device and output device as an integrated device. For example, this diagram, when it is integrated, it becomes microcontroller. When the processing unit, memory, input device and output device, when are integrated into a single chip, it becomes a microcontroller. Then what is the difference between a microprocessor and a microcontroller means? Microprocessor, it is for generic tasks. For example, calculation, listening songs, or any programming. So microprocessor can be used for any general task. For example, At the same time, we can use the same processor for calculation, for listening songs or some programming concept. Whereas your microcontroller, it is designed for a specific task. It is designed for specific task. Example, washing machine. Microwave oven, refrigerator, all these are example for microcontroller. So the clear difference is microprocessor, it is meant for a general purpose which can do more than one task at the same time, whereas a microcontroller, it is designed for a specific task or a dedicated task. For example, we shall have the washing machine which is dedicated only for washing, microwave oven which is dedicated only for cooking, and we have refrigerator which is dedicated for cooling the components inside it. So this is the basic difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. And coming to the definition of a microprocessor, it is termed as multi-purpose. As we said, it can do more than one process at the same time, and it is programmable. Why it is termed as programmable? It is going to work based on instructions. It is a programmable device because it is working based on some instructions given to it, and it is a clock driven, and it is work based on the signals, control signals given by the controller. For example, the read signal or write signal, and it is register based. All these operations are based on a special purpose registers or general purpose register. So as a whole, a microprocessor is a multi-purpose, programmable, clock driven, register based electronic device. And this is the diagram which shows the hardware model of a processor. Okay. So which includes an accumulator, ALU, flag register, instruction decoder, and 8-bit data bus, and 16-bit memory pointer, and which is also including control signals. Now, so what do you mean by an accumulator? So accumulator is nothing but a special purpose register. And why do we say it is a special purpose? Because it is a register which is going to store one of the operand of the arithmetic operations. As we know, arithmetic operations include addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So suppose we perform addition, subtraction, multiplication or division, one of the operand must be available in the accumulator, and the result of the operation must be stored in the accumulator. That's why it is referred as a special purpose register. Which is referred by the letter capital A. And the next is ALU. ALU stands for Arithmetic Logic Unit, which is heart of the processor. And what is special about ALU? So this is the core unit of the processor, which is going to receive the instructions from memory, process it, and send the output to the output devices using the system bus. So ALU decides the size of the processor. For example, if you say a processor chip as an 8-bit processor, it depends upon the processing capacity of the ALU. Suppose the ALU is capable of processing 8-bit data, that particular processor is referred as an 8-bit processor. Suppose the ALU is capable of processing 32-bit data, then that particular chip is referred as 32-bit processor. So the size of the processor is decided by the processing capacity of ALU. So that is why we say ALU is the heart of the processor. And the next is we have flag register. So what is the role of flag register means? It is going to reflect the result of the previous arithmetic operations. Suppose we perform an addition operation, if suppose it generates a carry result, it is reflected using the flag register. So flag register, it reflects the result of the flag previous arithmetic operation. And the next is instruction decoder. So instruction decoder is a unit which is going to convert the instructions stored in the memory as a machine understandable form. That is the role of instruction decoder. And we have a 8-bit database which is bidirectional. And we have a 16-bit memory pointer which is unidirectional. Apart from this, we have a register array. So this is the hardware model of a processor. So a hardware model of a processor includes two segments. One segment is going to include the accumulator, ALU, flag register, instruction decoder. The other segment include bidirectional 8-bit data bus, unidirectional memory pointer, and also register array. Apart from this, the hardware component use control signals. The control signals are read or write. Right? So the accumulator is a special purpose register which is going to store one of the operand of the arithmetic operation, and it is going to store the result, as well as it is going to store the result of the arithmetic operation. That is why we refer accumulator as a special purpose register, and it is denoted by the letter A. And the next is ALU. ALU is the heart of the processor which is going to process the data using the instructions given to it with the support of the register array available in the processor. And next is the flag register, which is going to reflect the result of the previous arithmetic operation. For example, suppose a carry is generated, it is reflected in the flag register. And we have one more component called instruction decoder, which is going to decode the instruction given to the processor in a processor understandable form. And we have a bidirectional data bus which is going to carry the data required for the processing, which is going to send and receive both the data in both the directions. And we have a register array which is going to support the operation of ALU. And we have a 16-bit memory pointer, stack pointer, and program counter, and which is going to support the operation of the processor. And we have control signals to control the operation of ALU. The control signals are read and write signals. and this is the software model of a processor, so which is going to include the collection of registers. And when we look at the diagram, we have an accumulator, we have a flag register, we have BC register, DE register, HL register, and PC, which stands for program counter, and SP is a stack pointer. So as we have discussed, accumulator is a special purpose, and in depth when you see that it is an 8-bit register which can store an 8-bit data. And we have flag register, and we have seen it already. Flag register, it is just going to reflect the result of the previous arithmetic operations, and the size of the flag register is 8-bit. And we have B, C, D, E, H, L. So all the 6 registers are general purpose. All the 6 registers are general purpose registers which are going to store data, result of the operations, may be used to store general data or result of the operations. And what is special about this general purpose registers are, these can be combined as, these registers can be combined as BC, DE and HL. The 6 8-bit registers can be combined as a register pair. For example, B and C can be combined, D and E can be combined, and HL can be combined to form a 16-bit register. All these can be combined to form a 16-bit register. For suppose we are going to perform a 16-bit operations, we are in need of a 16-bit register. So the available 8-bit registers can be combined and used as a 16-bit registers. That is what's special about general purpose registers. And we have a memory pointer, program counter and stack pointer. So what does PC stands for? PC stands for program counter, and SP stands for stack pointer. So if we look at the size, PC is a 16-bit register, and again stack pointer is also 16-bit register. So program counter, it stores the address of the next instruction to be executed, whereas your stack pointer is going to store the address of the next instruction. Again, stack pointer is also going to store the address of the next instruction to be executed, but we have some basic difference. Let us see in depth. So both PC and SP are memory pointers. So when we look at the software model, so we have a collection of registers which is going to include the special purpose register, accumulator and flag register, and general purpose register BC, DE, HL. So all these registers are of in size 8-bit, right? So the general purpose register, what is the use of it? It is used to store the data and the result of the arithmetic operations and any intermediate results. Intermediate result is stored in the general purpose register. And we have 2 memory pointers, program counter and a stack pointer, and both of these are memory pointers and are of size 16-bit, right? So program counter, it is used to store the or address of the next instruction to be executed by the processor. Suppose this is the processor, it is going to execute some instructions. Program counter holds the address of next instruction to be executed. And stack pointer, let us see in deep what is the role of stack pointer in a processor. So we are going to see deep about stack pointer. So what is a stack pointer? It is a register which is of 16-bit size. So okay, what is a necessity for a stack pointer in a processor? Suppose the processor is executing a program which stores an address starting from the address 2001. See, imagine, suppose it is going to receive a signal. It is going to receive a signal, that is interrupt signal. So interrupt is a signal which needs immediate attention of the processor. So now while executing the instruction available at 2002, the processor is receiving an interrupt signal. So by that time, what does the processor do? It stops its execution and stores the address of the next instruction to be executed. For example, the address of the next instruction to be executed is 2003. It is stored in the stack pointer. The address of the next instruction to executed by the processor while it is receiving an interrupt signal is stored in the stack pointer, and now the processor switch over to the interrupt call, and now it executes it attends the interrupt problem and it returns to the original program. So using a system called RET, so while returning it refers stack pointer to continue its operation. So while returning it refers the stack pointer to continue its previous execution. So stack pointer, it is used during context switch. So what do you mean by context switch? So imagine a scenario, a processor is executing a program. While execution it is receiving an interrupt signal. So as soon as it receives a signal, the processor stops executing its current program and stores the address of the next instruction. For example, the address of the next instruction is 2003. It is stored in the stack pointer. Now the processor addresses the interrupt problem. So after addressing the problem, it refers the stack pointer for its continuity, refers the address, fetch the address and continue its stopped execution. And we shall say the same example using a scenario called book reading. Suppose we are reading a book and we are studying during our examination, we receive a phone call. What do? We keep our pencil or pen within the book, close the book and attend the call. When we receive a call while reading a book, what do? We keep the pencil or pen within the book and attend the call. So after attending the call, we refer that pencil as a stack pointer. We refer the pencil where it is kept, we open that particular page and continue our reading. That is the analogy for context switch. That is the role of stack pointer, which is a memory pointer. So this is about software model of a processor. Okay, so now we are going to see deep about the flag register. So we have discussed that flag register, it is going to reflect the result of the previous arithmetic operation. Suppose the result gives a carry. Suppose the previous arithmetic operation generates a carry result. Now the flag register CY is set as 1. So flag register, which is of size 8-bit. The size of the flag register is 8-bit, out of which 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 bits are defined. 5 bits are defined. The 5 bits are, so you have a sign flag, S stands for sign, Z stands for 0, AC stands for auxiliary carry, P stands for parity, and CY stands for carry. So the flag register of an 8-bit processor is of 8-bit size, and out of which only 5 bits are defined and 3 are undefined. The defined flags are sign flag, zero flag, auxiliary carry flag, and P stands for parity flag, and CY stands for carry flag. Suppose a carry is generated, this carry flag is set as 1. By default it will be 0. Again, suppose it has even parity and odd parity. So parity means the number of ones in the given value. Suppose it has even parity, it is generated as 1. Suppose it has odd parity, it is set as 0. And auxiliary carry, suppose carry is generated between the lower byte and the upper byte, it is referred as auxiliary carry. When it is set, it is generated as 1. By default it is 0. And suppose the previous result generates a 0 result, it is set as 1. If a non-zero result is generated, it is set as 0. And suppose it is generating a S stands for sign flag, suppose it is generating a negative result, S flag is set as 1, non-negative result it is set as 0. So as a whole, flag register is going to reflect the result of the previous arithmetic operations. So far we have seen the hardware model and flag register of a processor. Okay, next we are going to see about the system bus. So what do you mean by a bus? A bus is nothing but a collection of wires. Bus is nothing but a collection of wires grouped together which is going to carry some sort of information. For example, address bus, again it is a collection of wire which is going to carry only address. And we have data bus, again it is a collection of wire which is going to carry only data. And we have control signals, again it is a collection of wire which is going to carry read or write signal. Right? So address bus, what is the size of address bus? It is of 16-bit. Size of data bus is 8-bit. And address bus is unidirectional. Address bus is unidirectional, whereas data bus is bidirectional. So system bus, which is going to include address bus, data bus and control signals. Address bus, it is of size 16-bit, which is unidirectional because the processor places the address on the address bus. And we have data bus which is of size 8-bit, which is going to carry data. So it is going to send data or receive data. So it is bidirectional. And the next is control signals. The signal may be read or write when it is necessary. Suppose the processor is going to write a data on the memory, it is going to generate write signal. Suppose the processor is going to read data from the memory, it is going to generate read control signal. So which is referred using the letter RD. This is WR. So this is about system bus. The next is The next is we are going to see about addressing modes. So what do you mean by addressing mode? The processor need to access some data available in a memory or an input device, and how does is going to recover the data or receive the data, that is referred as addressing modes. How does the processor access the required data is referred as addressing mode. For example, it has 5 categories. Number 1 is immediate addressing mode, number 2 direct addressing mode, register addressing mode, register indirect addressing mode, and we have implant addressing mode. So what do you mean by immediate addressing mode? Suppose the data to be processed is available in the same instruction, it is referred as immediate addressing mode. The data to be the data to be processed, suppose it is available in the same instruction, it is referred as immediate addressing mode. For example, so let us look at an example, MVI A, 18H. So now this instruction, what is the function of this instruction? Move a data 18 to the register A. So the data to be processed is now 18 is nothing but 18 is the data to be processed. 18 is the data to be processed. The process is nothing but moving this 18 into A register. So after execution of this instruction, this 18 is moved to A register. So what is special? So the data to be processed is available in the same instruction itself. The 18 is available in the same instruction. And one more thing, this I stands for, MVI stands for immediate. So this is immediate addressing mode. The next is direct addressing mode. Example is STA 2005H. So it is nothing but store the result available in accumulator register in the address 2005. So here 2005 is nothing but the memory address. Store the value stored at the accumulator A at the address 2005H. So after executing this instruction, for example, before executing this instruction, accumulator A has a value 18. So after executing this instruction, the value available at accumulator register is transferred to the memory location 2005. So why do we say this as a direct addressing mode? Because the data to be transferred, the address of the data to be transferred is specified directly in the instruction itself. The address is specified directly in the instruction itself. That's why we refer this as a direct addressing mode. And next is we have register addressing mode. So what do you mean by register addressing mode? The data to be transferred is available in the register itself. For example, so we have register addressing mode, move A, B, right? And this is register A, this is register B. So after executing instruction, the data available at register B is moved to register A. So both the source operand and the destination operand both are registers. So that's why we refer this as register addressing mode. So the data to be operated is available within the register. That's why we refer this as a register addressing mode. So next is register indirect. So the example is move a comma m. So what does this m refers? M refers nothing but it is referring a memory address. So what will happen after executing this instruction? So by default memory address is stored in a register pair called HL. Memory address is going to store in a register pair HL. For example, so this register pair is going to have a value 2005. So after executing this instruction, the processor is going to refer HL register pair. It fetches the value 2005 and it goes to the memory at the address 2005 and fetch the value available at this address and move that value to accumulator. So what do we do here? The address of the memory is not given directly and it is given indirectly using a register pair HL. That's why we refer this as register indirect addressing mode. So in register indirect mode, the address of the data is not given directly. It is given indirectly using a register pair. So by default, the register pair is HL. We should not use BC or DE. We must use only HL register pair. So HL register pair is going to hold the address. The processor is going to refer this register pair, fetch this value, and it goes to the memory and fetch the value available at the address 2005 and move that value to accumulator. So after executing this instruction, this value is going to be stored into accumulator register. The next is implied addressing mode. So what do you mean by implied addressing mode? So implied addressing mode, it is not going to give the value or data in the instruction or register anything. It is going to refer only accumulator register for its processing. For example, CMA. CMA stands for complement accumulator. Complement accumulator. CMA stands for complement accumulator. Now the processor refers the accumulator for processing its data. So by default, implied addressing mode is going to refer only accumulator for its processing. So we have completed all the 5. The first is immediate addressing mode, second is direct addressing mode, third register indirect, implied addressing mode. So immediate addressing mode, the data is available in the instruction itself. Direct addressing mode, the data to be fetched, the address of the data is given, so that's why it is referred as direct addressing mode. Number 3 is register addressing mode. The data to be processed is available in a register, so it is referred as register addressing mode. The next is register indirect addressing mode. The data to be processed is given indirectly using a register pair. So by default, register pair is HL. So after executing this instruction, the processor is going to refer the HL register pair, fetch the address and referring the 2005 that location and fetch the data in 2005H and move it to A. So that's why it is referred as register indirect. And the last is we have implied addressing mode. So implied addressing mode, it is not going to give the data directly or indirectly. It is going to access only accumulator for its processing. For example, CMA. CMA stands for complement accumulator. So complement accumulator, it is going to complement the value available at accumulator. For example, suppose it is going to have a value 10. After complementing this, the value is going to become 01. Right? Thank you. So as a whole, so we have seen the definition for a microprocessor and the various applications and the difference between a microprocessor and a microcontroller and hardware model, software model, flag register and system bus, and we have covered addressing modes. Thank you.